But the good news is that we've found out exactly who is behind these protests with Kavanaugh. It is not folks who are concerned about the environment. It's not folks who are concerned about the Chevron doctrine, the idea that regulatory agencies can actually do their job. It's not folks who are worried about his potential attempted rape or the fact that he lied on multiple occasions to the Senate Judiciary Committee, ranging from the Manny Miranda scandal back when he was in the Bush administration to many aspects of his addressing the question of that attempted rape. There are no Americans, ladies and gentlemen, who are protesting Brett Kavanaugh who are not doing so because of George Soros. Here is Chuck Grassley with Maria Bartiromo, the President Trump's, I think, greatest fan in the media, if possible.
Well, Dobbs is
quite the gauntlet there.
Yeah, I know, but
she's very fair. She's fair. She's super fair.
Let's hear Grassley with Bartiromo. I mean, this also suggests to me that they maybe know that they're going to lose the vote because Soros is the last refuge. But
what's gone on here, Senator? I mean, you've had people thrown out of restaurants. You've had people shamed and criticized online, and obviously protesters in your face. First off, do you believe George Soros is behind all of this, paying these people to get you and your colleagues in elevators or wherever they can get in your face?
I have heard so many people believe that. I tend to believe it. I believe it fits in his attack mode that he has and how he uses his billions and billions of resources. I think it promotes incivility in American society, but I also think that the resistance that's been in existence since November 2016 is headquartered here on Capitol Hill. When you have congresswomen say that you get in the face of anybody that's in the cabinet, we have senators say get in the face.
Resistance.
He's been doing French Duolingo.
That's how Soros presents it, and I'm tired.
I mean, they are, to a certain extent, I mean, it is so rote that, we don't pay much attention to it, but the idea that they have to say that the protest and the anger against Kavanaugh, because they see the polls, right? I mean, and it's not just Democrats who are against the nomination of Kavanaugh. Independents, people who are not terribly politically active against the nomination of Kavanaugh. I mean, George Soros is rich, but I will say this, I haven't gotten a dime from Soros, and it's getting a little bit tiresome to see him spread this money around. Somehow he doesn't have my address.
Did you see Trump's tweet about this that I think Grassley was responding to?
Put the tweet up. Wait, Grassley's responding to...
No, Grassley was on first.
Oh, Grassley was on first.
80 minutes before that.
Okay.
So after Grassley, we see this tweet from Donald Trump, which says, the very rude elevator screamers are paid professionals only looking to make senators look bad.
Exactly.
They're paid professionally to be rape survivors, apparently, according to Donald Trump. Don't fall for it. Also, look at all the professionally made identical signs paid for by Soros and others. These are not signs made in the basement from love. Hashtag troublemakers.
Made in the basement of love with the milkmen and other regular Americans.
I like when Trump tries to get all new agey on people for being negative or having bad vibes or whatever. That's fun.
These are not the love-infused milk people doing it from their hearts.
I think that's
it's
his way of saying
top-down command and control.
Sincere. They're not sincere is what he's trying to say, I think. But made in your basement from love.
Pretty sincere. Sounds sincere to me. What part of sincere don't you understand? Fake sincere. Fake sincere. It's part of the resistance.
Oh, I guess it was Gohmert who sort of launched off all the Soros stuff. If we want to play.
All right. Well, here is Louis Gohmert.
Christ, here we go.
So this is the way this goes, right? Louis Gohmert, a backbencher, but also, a marginalized figure because he's so nuts.
But he's right in the cognitive mainframe of the Republican Party.
That's right. But he is the one who first traffics in this stuff. And then Grassley hears that Gohmert has said it. And so Grassley regurgitates it. And then Trump tweets it out. But here is Louis Gohmert, like sort of patient zero of this argument that George Soros is behind all of the anti-Kavanaugh protests.
The Democratic Party has been politically corrupt now for 20 years, and at the same time, their connections to the Democratic Party and the Democratic National Committee and Democratic administrations are documented and will be more so before we're through.
They might as well raise their forearm and raise their hands and yell, "Heil Soros," is the way they've headed. But
Soros, you should know, survived the Holocaust, was, I think, about 14 or 15, maybe 13 when the Holocaust hit, and made his way to England from Hungary, which was occupied by the Germans at that time.
So really, he should know better.
Didn't Glenn Beck imply, though, back in 2010 that Soros was a collaborator?
Not imply.
He said it.
Yes. The story was that as a 13 or a 14-year-old, I believe it was, maybe a 15-year-old, Soros was forced to go with either a German official or a Jewish official who was working for the Germans to go around and check, I think, the homes of Jews to see if any of them were still living there. And so, and it was a very brief stint, and he, of course, was 14 years old. And that they've now said that he was some type of Nazi collaborator.
It was brief, but it was fascinating to hear about. Especially for a devil, George Soros is a fascinating guy.
But it's also sort of fascinating because of the enormous big money that is pulsating through the right, that this is just another classic sort of case of projection. There's no doubt
That's all Republican politics
there's
is.
no doubt that some of these organizations that are organizing the protests get some funding from either George Soros or a George Soros funded foundation or something to that. I would be upset to learn that they were not getting, there was none, no Soros money was involved in this, because he's supposed to be the billionaire that funds everything. But it just doesn't work on the left the way that it works on the right in terms of the amount of money and how it's spread around.
If the right is so concerned about these things, they can join us for calls for transparency. Because I'd like a website that shows all these sort of contributions.
No problem.
I'm curious to know when they're going to transition from Soros to Steyer and what they're going to say about him when his money's just thrown around. I don't know.
There could be a little bit of a problem, is that Steyer doesn't have the same allure that a Soros has. He's not foreign. He's not hook-nosed. That is, one of the things that makes, I think, it easier for them to villainize
I like to see Grassley in that strategy session. So the problem we're talking about Steyer is he's not a hook-nosed foreign Jew. Soros makes it easy that way when you're talking about the resistance. Now I need a nap.